You know that feeling on Sunday night when you realize the weekend is over and somehow you're more tired than you were on Friday? Not a little tired, genuinely exhausted, like you just came back from a shift, except the only thing you did was relax. You scrolled for 6 hours. You watched 3 episodes of something. Maybe you even went somewhere, a little weekend trip, a hike, a city break, and you came back needing a vacation from your vacation. And now it's Monday morning, your alarm is going off, and your body is sending you a very clear message. I did not recover. Whatever you just did for the last 2 days, it wasn't rest. It was just a different flavor of exhausting. And here's the terrifying part. This isn't a one-weekend problem. This is most people's entire life. Work hard all week, rest on the weekend, in a way that doesn't actually restore anything. Go back to work, still running on empty. Repeat that cycle for years. And eventually, you don't even remember what it feels like to wake up actually recovered. You just accept a permanent low-grade exhaustion as the baseline of being an adult. You think that's just what life is now. It's not. And the reason you feel this way isn't because you're lazy or broken or bad at relaxing. It's because almost everything we call rest in modern life is not actually rest. It's just a different category of stimulation dressed up to look like relaxation. So let's actually break this down, because once you understand what real rest is, you can fix this embarrassingly fast. Point 1. Rest is recovery, not a new activity. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They treat rest as the opposite of work instead of recovery from work. Those are two very different things. Scrolling short videos for 2 hours isn't the opposite of work. It's just work for your attention span instead of your job. Binge-watching a new show you've never seen isn't neutral for your brain. It's still processing new information, new plots, new characters, new stimulation. Going on an intense, jam-packed sightseeing trip where you're speed-walking through 5 museums a day isn't rest either. It's just a physically and mentally demanding activity that happens to not be your job. None of that is bad. Some of it is genuinely fun. But none of it is rest, because rest by definition is supposed to relax whatever was tense in the first place. If you spent all week mentally overloaded and then you go relax by cramming even more new information into your brain, you haven't relaxed anything. You've just changed the source of the load. Point 2. Not all exhaustion is the same, so figure out which kind you actually have. This is the part almost nobody thinks about, and it's the single biggest reason people rest wrong. You have to diagnose your own exhaustion before you can treat it, exactly the same way you wouldn't take a cold medicine for a broken leg. If your exhaustion is physical, your body feels heavy, you're yawning constantly, your muscles genuinely ache, then what you need is boring and simple: sleep, food, and lying down. Not a hike, not an adventure. Your body is asking for stillness and fuel, not more movement. If your exhaustion is emotional, you're irritable, everything is annoying you, your patience is basically at 0. Then you don't need sleep, you need an emotional reset. That might be laughing at something dumb, being completely alone for a while, or talking to someone about literally anything except work. The goal here is to get out of that heavy emotional state, not to power through it. And if your exhaustion is intellectual, your brain feels overheated, you can't focus, thinking feels like wading through mud, then what you actually need is what I'd call wandering attention mode. Not more focus, less. Things like taking a shower, going for a walk, or doing something mechanical and repetitive with your hands. These activities let your mind drift instead of forcing it to concentrate on anything new. Mixing these up is exactly why so many rest attempts fail. You're physically wiped out, so you decide to relax by going on a big active weekend trip, which just adds more physical demand on top of what your body already couldn't handle. Or you're mentally fried from work, so you relax by watching an intense new show that requires you to track 5 subplots and a dozen characters, which is just more intellectual load, not less. Point 3. Real rest wants routine, not novelty. This one goes against basically everything social media tells you about how to make the most of your time off. We're constantly told to explore something new, try a new place, discover a new hobby. But novelty, by its nature, requires your brain to process new information. New information is stimulating. Stimulating is the opposite of restful. This is why rewatching a show you've already seen a dozen times feels so good when you're exhausted. You already know what happens. Your brain doesn't have to work to follow the plot. You can just exist in the background noise of something familiar while your nervous system actually settles down. Same goes for walking a route you already know instead of exploring somewhere brand new, or doing the same comfortable routine instead of constantly seeking a new experience. Familiarity is what allows your mind to finally stop scanning for new information and just relax. Point 4. Real rest has zero responsibility attached to it. Here's a trap a lot of planners and organized people fall into without realizing it. If you're the one arranging the trip, booking everything, figuring out logistics, managing the schedule, deciding what everyone else is doing, that is still work. You've just swapped your job title for vacation coordinator. Your brain is still in charge of everything mode. It's still solving problems and making decisions. Actual rest is the version where you have no role to play. You're not organizing anything. You're not responsible for anyone else's experience. You're just sitting somewhere, maybe staring at water, doing absolutely nothing that requires a decision. If part of your relaxing weekend still involves you being the one who has to make sure everything runs smoothly, that part of the trip isn't rest. It's unpaid project management with a nicer view. Point 5. None of this works without the basics: sleep and food. I know this sounds almost insultingly simple, but it's the truth. 8 hours of sleep and eating like a normal functioning human being is the foundation everything else sits on top of. You can do every single technique I'm about to mention, but if you're running on 5 hours of sleep and skipping meals, none of it is going to work properly. It's like trying to build a house on sand. The fancy recovery techniques are the walls and the roof. Sleep and food are the foundation. Skip the foundation, and the walls eventually come down no matter how nice they looked. Point 6. Use small, fast tools for quick recovery instead of waiting for a big trip. You don't need to save all your recovery for one big vacation once a year. In fact, that approach is part of why people burn out in the first place. They run themselves into the ground for 11 months waiting for one holiday to fix everything, which is an enormous amount of pressure to put on 2 weeks in the sun. Instead, build small recovery habits into your actual daily life. A short walk outside, even 5 minutes in natural light, measurably lowers stress hormones like cortisol. Doing something with your hands, building something, doing a puzzle, cleaning, even something like foraging or gardening, gives your mind that same wandering, low-focus state I mentioned earlier. Seeing friends without turning it into a work debrief, where you actually ban the topic of your job for the evening, gives you an emotional reset. And something as simple as a shower or being near water activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is, quite literally, your body's built-in rest and digest mode, as opposed to the fight or flight mode most of us live in by default. Point 7. Plan your rest in advance, or it turns into more stress. This might sound like a contradiction after everything I just said about responsibility and organizing being work, but there's an important difference between planning ahead of time versus scrambling last minute. If you wait until the week before to figure out your time off, you end up in a mad rush, chasing flight deals, fighting for the last hotel room, cramming logistics into your already limited free time. That stress bleeds directly into the rest period itself. Planning early, calmly, well before you need the break, means that when the actual rest period arrives, there's nothing left to figure out. You just get to exist in it. So here's the real takeaway, and it's simpler than you'd expect after all of that. Rest is not about having a good time, it's about recovery. A weekend full of fun new experiences can still leave you more drained than when you started. And a boring, familiar, low-key weekend with zero responsibility can leave you feeling like an entirely new person. If you keep resting the wrong way, non-stop scrolling and new shows on one end, or overpacked, hyperactive trips on the other, you're going to keep ending your time off more exhausted than when it started. and you're going to keep quietly wondering what's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You just haven't been treating the actual injury. Figure out what kind of tired you are. Give it what it specifically needs. Protect the boring basics of sleep and food, and build in small daily recovery instead of waiting for one big trip to save you. That's the entire difference between ending your time off refreshed and ending it needing a vacation from your vacation.